Welcome to MDV The Blueprint with your host, Michael Dellavella. I'm your guest intro guy today, Gianni Dellavella, producer of the show. Today's a special episode, and I'm honored to be introducing to you our year-end wrap for 2023. In this episode, MDV is going to give you guys his recap of the year and the market. He's going to tell you a little bit about the trends and things that he saw. And we're going to give you a little bit of information and highlight some of the nuggets of wisdom that we feel that we've covered in the past 6 months of doing the show. We're through 13 episodes now at this point, and we'd like to kind of consolidate them all into different tools in a toolbox for a buyer, for a seller, and for other real estate agents. And you can take all that information, listen to it whenever you want. It's always available on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, and clips are always available on our Instagram page, our TikTok page, and our YouTube channel. So check out all of our socials. Without further ado, if you want to take it away.
Thank you, Johnny. That was way better than what I do. You have a serious future as a podcaster. That was absolutely spectacular.
Thank you very much.
So let's dive into this. A different type of show. It's not a guest. It's a wrap-up show. So like I said, let's dive into it and talk about and reflect of the past year and the guests we've had. So 2023, a challenging market for all the years that I have been in the business. I would say it is probably one of the tougher. And the obvious is that there was a lack of inventory in the market, that people weren't selling. Why are people not selling? Well, I think the obvious is that today's homeowner, the people that own their home, 70% of homeowners that own a home with a mortgage have a rate that's less than 4%, 4% or less, which is crazy. If you have that kind of a rate, you're not going anywhere. The other thing is 30% of homeowners don't have a mortgage at all. And another just shy of 40, let's say 38% of homeowners have 50% equity in their home. So this has caused a perfect storm with rates rising that these homeowners are not going anywhere. That and the lack of new construction being built over the past 12 years has caused this issue. It's not going away. It's going to continue until new construction meets up with the demand of houses. If you go to any new construction area, they're booming, that people are building new homes because that's really the only avenue that they've had to go to. All the builders here that I have went and visited recently are all doing really well. So that, in a nutshell, is the real estate market of 2023. It is going to continue, but it is going to get better. So when they come back with data at the end of the year and say that, the market was down. Yes, it's down, but it's down because there is less homes on the market being sold than each previous year. So it's kind of a flawed stat, in my opinion. Now, let's get into some of our episodes. The shows that we have done, if I reflect on a couple of them, if you go back and you listen to Bob Wilson and Steve Weixel, they provided so many amazing points. Johnny, does anything jump out at you that when you heard the show and were on the show that you took away from Steve or Bob?
Yeah, absolutely. So I assume you're referring to tools for buyers, going off of interest rates and everything. Yeah, so something that stuck out to me, being a young person that, doesn't have anywhere near the expertise that you have, but is starting to get an education. It seems like their comments on people's buying power still being, pretty relevant today. I feel like a lot of people get mixed up in hysteria that they can't afford a house and they shouldn't put their money and invest into a house. And Bob and Steve were really good at putting into perspective what the rates mean for somebody that, like me, doesn't really follow the rates all the time, doesn't know everything about the market, and letting you know that there are affordable options out there. And at the end of the day, it's really one of the best places that you could put your money to begin with. So
It beats renting, and I mean, you're looking into that now. You know what you're looking at to pay rent. And it's astronomical. So, yeah, they had some great different programs you can do. What you're putting down, but the main thing I took away from that is you, if you're buying a home and you can afford the payment, don't be afraid to buy the house because the rate is at what it is today. I think it was said, you marry the home and you date the rate. Rates are going to come down, but whatever they are, if you're in let's say a 30-year fix, they cannot take that rate away from you. And that was gold. Bob was so big on getting the pre-approval and putting you into the right products and making sure that you are educated to what you do from the time you're pre-approved when you buy a home. He calls them the 10 commandments. But if you go back, if you're a buyer and you watch those episodes, they're absolutely fantastic. And there's so much wisdom and things that as a young buyer or a veteran buyer that you will take away from those episodes. So I would encourage anyone to go back, listen to those episodes, and get ready for when you're ready to buy a house.
those two were fantastic, Dad. And I thought, so episode 1 is the one with Bob, just to give you guys a little bit of context, unlocking mortgage secrets. And you'll see Bob Wilson's name in there. And then the one with Steve Weixel is episode, that's episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6. And then as far as buyers, that's not where the list stops for your toolbox for buyers, for our blueprints for buyers, right? What other episodes did we feel were kind of the best master classes in different areas for buyers?
Well, Dave Sipple from Duke Inspections sticks out in my head. He had some, great advice for buyers. Most buyers today, when they're trying to be competitive, will just waive an inspection altogether. I don't think that's a good idea. Even if your agent structures it that it is for informational purposes only, you should always get a home inspection. And Dave gave you some great gold nuggets of what buyers can be looking for and what they should be looking for in homes and in areas, what he sees. So invaluable information. Listen to Dave. I mean, it's great. He had great stuff for buyers and sellers on the home inspection.
Well, I would plant in there the episode with the mayor. I would plant in there the episode with Meredith LaVecchia and Village Project as a part of just considering the area that you're buying in and considering the community that you're buying. When you're buying a house, it's not always just buying a home. You're buying a place to live. And I felt like those ones gave great, insightful, not only information, but it gives people a look at what really makes a community and what makes a place that you want to live and you want to be a part of. Mayor Clough.
No, you're right. I totally forgot about that. Mayor Clough just gave you an outline for what an amazing community Westlake is and everything it has to offer. And Meredith just was what an unbelievable community Bay Village is in all their community outreach and how the people there embrace Village Project and it's embedded into the community and culture of Bay Village. So good
Right.
stuff on both of those, and they were amazing guests.
Another one or another two that I want to highlight, and it's a little different, but it's still technically for a home buyer. If you're somebody that's looking at building a home, we had an architect on, Steve Weixel, who was incredible. He had great pieces of information to offer. I mean, he's a guy that's been in the business for how long?
Yeah. If any custom home, or if he gave you great ideas of what is trending in a home today, what features are amazing. What is more sustainable products. Talked about energy efficiency. Then we had Ronnie on. That Ronnie gave you some great things that he likes and does in a home, and it's just getting you educated to go on this journey of shopping for a home. If you're not looking for a existing home, those 2 episodes with Steve and Ronnie are gold.
Yeah,
Absolute
those
gold.
ones were awesome. That's Home Building, Industry Insights, and Evolution with Ronald Pozzatello. That one's great. More recent. And then it was actually our second episode with Steve Schill, and his name's in the title, so you can find that one.
And John Angelante was another one that for people that are either owning a home, bought a home, or going to build a home. He we talked for over an hour on fireplaces and how important it is to have that inspected and have it done yearly and the different options you have. So that was a lot of unbelievable information. From
I
the
think
heart.
so too. It was great. And I think that you could even pivot that into a seller, considering the fact that a lot of what he talked about had to do with maintenance, had to do with upkeep, had to do with keeping your home in a state where it's most valuable, where you can sell and get the most value out of it, instead of, pumping all those money into very expensive repairs when you're ready to sell the house and being upset that you didn't make the money you wanted to make on your investment.
No,
He
that's
talked
a
about
good
all
point.
of the things that you need to do to keep your house valuable, all the things you need to do to keep your house spick and span and keep it maintained.
Right, and then that also plays on when you're selling a house. So listening to his words of wisdom, what to do to get ready to sell a house, and then Tom Crusoe Cabinets, absolutely spectacular episode. If you are a seller, he gave tips on giving your kitchen a facelift. Everybody knows a kitchen is what sells a home, but he gave you very inexpensive things that people can do to go in and change their kitchen. If you are building a house, he laid it out for you of here's where the trends are, here's where they've gone, here's where they're going, here's what you see in different, cabinets of cabinet option, cabinet designs. But that's one that if I'm buying, building a home, selling a home, I would listen to that episode because it gives you just so much valuable information.
Yeah, Tom was great. He's like a guru on kitchens. He knows everything there is to know about, laying one out, about he even had some interesting bits about owning a home today and how you lay it out. You know, I'm talking about how he was he brought up the point that really people don't use dining rooms anymore, and that houses are being built without dining rooms. And so I thought that was cool when I was listening in, just to hear how he really has his finger on the pulse. And he's like, I thought of him as a kitchen guru, and I think
No,
that's a good one for a lot of homeowners in general, because kitchens are the most important part of a house, basically. And everybody's always looking for cool designs, cool trends. That one's chocked full of them. That episode.
and again, if you're buying a resale home and it's not the perfect kitchen, but it's the neighborhood and the floor plan works for you and you can afford it, live in it for a few years, then redesign your kitchen. Trends always change. We have redone our kitchen twice and are thinking of doing it for a third time. So it's not uncommon. And you always see the latest and greatest appliances, tops, backsplashes, the way trends in cabinets. So, yeah, definitely give that episode a listen. It is absolutely spectacular. Changing out the hi hats was huge. And it's something that I did after meeting with him. So that was a good one. How about let's talk about some advice for sellers that they could get out of these episodes.
Tom, right? John Angelanti. So that's one. That's two. Who else do we have?
Uh, Caruso, Shill, stuff to do.
Steve
Simple,
Schill.
again, going around and changing things out in your house. Pre-inspection is something that I always will recommend people do, and especially in today's market with multiple offers. If you've had your home pre-inspected and you want to expedite the process of this sale, that you can give that inspection if you're the seller to your potential buyer, and maybe they wouldn't do an inspection if you're dealing with a reputable inspector like Dave. But great stuff that he laid out there. Um, I, Steve, everything he said about, like, if you just are going to go in and just do some energy efficient stuff for a home that you don't have, but it's basically, yeah, you put your best foot forward. If you're going to start selling your house this year, you need to start now. Declutter, depersonalize, maybe paint the room, maybe paint the cabinets, maybe put in a new cabinet. Do stuff for curb appeal as soon as the snow breaks. There's just so many things that you can do to get it ready. And today, what we're seeing is homes that are in great condition, move-in ready, and are priced right. Those are the homes that are selling quickly and for top dollar.
Another one that was really important, I think, for sellers and for sort of a niche situation, but was Joe Tricasso. Joe Tricasso did a great episode. He's an estate planning attorney, and it had a lot of valuable information, not only on what's best for you in your situation as far as securing your assets in case of the worst, but also I think you could shed a little bit of light about the situations that you were telling me about that a lot of people get caught up in, and they end up in these difficult, like
if
puzzles.
there you have a parent, an aging parent, and an aging parent needs to, if they passed away and you've inherited the house, or an aunt or an uncle or a brother, you inherit a home, and everything hasn't been set up and prepared for by the previous owner or parent or uncle or aunt, you're going to face probate. And Joe just gave everybody some unbelievable advice of what people should be doing before this happens to avoid any of this long drawn out process. So I thought his stuff was invaluable. It's a hard conversation to have with parents, especially aging parents, but it's one that you need to have. That you got to make sure that they're prepared, and if something should happen, that everything could happen, and those that the home is going for, they are going to reap the benefits of it. But he gave some great information. That episode was great. All in all, everything that we did, I think, added tremendous value for buyers and sellers. You go back, you listen to it, and it just resonates if that's the world you're living in right now.
I mean, you can get so much. All those episodes, none of them are longer than an hour, I don't think, but they are so valuable. It's like a master class that just has to leave you more prepared if you're in any of those situations, buying or selling.
I think it works for listening to those buyers, sellers, and if you're a real estate agent, it adds ideas that, well, maybe I will incorporate this into my business or the way I do things, or maybe I'll reach out to this person and see if I could work with them, maybe use some of their ideas. But it's great for agents. But speaking of master classes, the Amy Martin episode was a master class on branding and marketing yourself. If you're an agent or any entrepreneur or whatever your business may be, what she laid out, that plan, I mean, that is better than, I think you said it best, that you said that you thought it was better than a lot of the college lectures.
It was very much like, yeah, it was such a valuable conversation just for me to sit in on and to listen to. For anybody in my situation, if I can speak to any young people that may be listening to this, maybe any of my friends, it was the hands down the best seminar on networking, on growing your career, on growing your personal brand, on bringing yourself into the business world, into the professional world, and setting yourself up for success on all fronts. And another thing that I thought was really, really interesting and cool that she talked about was the way that she tries to be very dynamic and not lose her personal side in the business world. It becomes very tough to balance and kind of walk that thin line of being super professional and being who you are at home. And I think that we've done a good job of that too, bringing in a little bit of personal effect to this podcast. And I think that everybody should, with the episode with John Colasar about the football game. That's something you're passionate about. You're a holistic person, right? You're not all real estate, although you're great at it. And that was our most popular episode. A lot of people loved it, and it draws a lot of people in. And then, hey, maybe somebody goes to sell a house. That's just great stuff, and that's things that she touched on that really helped us change our perspective and try to diversify and branch out a bit.
Well, that's where the idea came from. Talking to Amy, having that conversation, in the back of my head was like, okay, I'm going to do something different than what I've been talking about. And that Johnny one it was so natural. I get to talk to my good friend and something that I, love dearly, the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan rivalry. That was that was amazing. That was an incredible episode, and it was so much fun to do. And I'm glad that you were on it and got to hear all that history of it.
Yeah, that was a cool one. I got a lot of good feedback from my friends on that one too. That episode that me and you did, I thought that was another way to sort of highlight branching out in your industry and adding value, which is another thing that Amy talked about. This whole segment of episodes that are valuable for agents or for entrepreneurs, I think all kind of stems back to the Amy Martin episode. But one of the things that she talked about that was really important was being a continual learner and being somebody that branches out and embraces change. And I want to commend you for the job that you've done at embracing change, embracing social media, on the marketing side and on the podcast side, and starting this thing with me and allowing me to help you out and start this show and this brand. And I think it's helped diversify your the value that you offer. You just have so many more channels to reach people, and you're more of a presence online, which is very valuable in today's world.
Which I never had. But what you said and what Amy said is, we talked about embracing change, and you don't know everything, even though you think you do. I knew nothing about this. I knew enough to research wanting to do a podcast, but I didn't know how to put it together. And that was all on you. And I looked to you, who you're in your 20s and you figured it out, YouTube University, and you did it. And I could have never done that on my own. So that is what they talk about with, don't go in it alone. I mean, I'm a lot older than you, but I've learned so much from you in this really, we've done it for 6 months, but it's been a year.
There's a point that Amy made and also a point that Steve Weixel made, and it was about mentorship. And that's probably the most valuable thing for anybody that's just starting out in an industry, or even for a mentor. I mean, me and you are kind of having that relationship as far as this podcast. You're mentoring me at being an entrepreneur and mentoring me at being a professional in front of people. And I'm helping you in return with the social presence and learning the social media side of things. So there's such a mutual gain from that relationship. And they thought that it was such a valuable thing for anybody. That was one of their really strong points, the two of them.
Yeah. And I remember Steve saying that for anybody that's in the business, no matter what you are doing, no matter what business you are in, don't try to figure it out on your own. There are people that have laid out the blueprint for success, and people love to pass that information on to others. All I did is come up with an idea and how I wanted to do it, but it was you that taught yourself how to do this. And if it's more than us talking on this microphone. It's all the behind the scene stuff. It's all the posting you do. It's that I could never do. I wouldn't know how to do all that stuff, and I couldn't do that without you. So you've taught me how to structure it, and I kind of gave you the, like you said, a push of being an entrepreneur and trying something different. And
Right.
don't
That's
be
that
afraid.
mutual gain for that relationship. And it's just one of the many things that they talk about, Amy and Steve, and just something that you can get out of that episode. So I encourage you, anybody my age, you have said that it's an absolute masterclass for anybody at any age. I agree with you. Go listen to the Amy Martin episode. Go listen to the John Colasar episode if that's something you're interested in. Go listen to the episode with me if it's something that you're interested in.
As an agent, the key thing, and I think Amy may have said this, you're a problem solver. You're not a hero. Don't get caught up with all the buzz of what's going on with the media in the real estate industry. Focus on yourself, importance of your value that you add to your client, and continuously strive to learn, make yourself better. Just be better than you were the day before. And that's all you need to do. And be passionate about your job and be disciplined. Be disciplined in your daily life. So in closing, what I just want to say to everybody that came on the show is I am so grateful and thankful for your time, for your wisdom that you gave to the audience, and for anybody that is a listener who has commented, who has called me. I am so grateful and thankful for you, and it means a ton. I appreciate all of you. And going forward in 2024, we have unbelievable guests lined up. I think that it'll get better and better as the show goes on. And there's always something to learn. I love that I take something away from everyone I talk to. I think that's unbelievable. And I love doing this. I something I'm passionate about. And I still love doing the non-traditional real estate one. So I think I have a couple more planned, but we will save that. But thank you to everyone. And the biggest thank you is to you, Gianni. This never happens without you. So I owe you a debt of gratitude, and I am so appreciative and grateful for everything you did. It would never go without you.
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful for being a part of this and having this opportunity and the partnership that you and I have. It's awesome. The relationship. Thank you so much to everybody who has listened, anybody who's checked out our socials, everybody who's liked, commented, shared any of our stuff. We are so grateful. We're so glad that you are enjoying the content. We're so glad if it's helped you. If you've gotten even one bit of insightful information that's helped you in any way, then I think that we can confidently say that we have accomplished what we have set out to do. We are excited to continue into the new year and to bring you along on the ride with us.
I think that was so well said. I can't say it any better myself. Just thank you to everyone. Thank you. Thank you. And have a wonderful holiday season. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. Be safe. And we will see you in 2024. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Make sure to follow us on social media at MDV The Blueprint on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We post a ton of great content. And please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast channel so you never miss out on an episode. Thanks again, and see you next time.